Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are solving the coding part of the previous follow-up question, which is a spiral matrix. In this question we will do the coding part, and we have already discussed the logical implementation, logical approach, how we can solve the spiral matrix question. So now we are going to code that particular thing. We have already initialized and declared a 2D array with the name of matrix, and we have already called print spiral matrix function, which is a private method. You can find it here. And now we are initialize 4 variables, which is first int start row, and these variables are gonna be our ranges which we are gonna use in our for loops. It will initialize with 0. int start column, initialize it with 0. Start end row, which will be matrix dot length, and int end column, which is matrix of 0 dot length. Okay, now while start row is smaller than equals to end row, and our start column is smaller than equals to end column. Okay, we will perform certain task, which is first we will traverse and print through the top boundary, then left boundary, top boundary, then right boundary, bottom boundary, and then left boundary. Okay, now it is a good practice to make comments in your code, so that you can whenever come back and revise that particular code which you have already written earlier, then you will find it quite easy and understand what this particular part of this code is doing and how it is all working. Okay, now we'll loop for loop. It will start with start column and goes up to end column. And column J++. If you do, always make sure, it is a good practice. Usually I perform this. I always use iterator I for rows and J for columns, which helps me to always keep track that this iterator is for column wise and this iterator is for row wise. It helps a lot while revising your code. Okay, now what we're gonna do, we'll print the top boundary. Okay, south, and for printing we use matrix. So in the top boundary we know that our row is static, so it is in certain row, which is start row, and our J is dynamic, which is changing with the help of this for loop and for the traversing part. Okay, so matrix of start row and J. Okay, this will print our top boundary of the matrix. Okay, now we'll do the right boundary for loop. So in the right we have dynamic rows, that first we have row, second row, third row, fourth row. For traversing row wise we need to initialize row with +1, cause the last element of the front top boundary we have already used in our top boundary loop. Okay, so it will start with start row +1 and goes up to end row. I++. Now in this we'll do again south. In this if we are printing the right boundary of that particular matrix, that means our row is changing and our column is static. That means our column will not be changed and our row will change, so that we can print the right boundary one by one. Okay, so matrix matrix of I, which is our row part, which is dynamic, so it will be changed with the help of for loop iterator. Okay, and column, which is our static part. It is just for understanding I am saying dynamic and static. It is not a particular word to use here, but for the understanding, we have already discussed the logical part. You can quite easily understand that thing, and then after come to the coding part. So now we will come to the bottom for loop. Okay, this is for bottom will be considered by column part. Okay, so we will initialize it with j. It will go up to greater than equals to start column. It will be initialized with end column minus 1. Okay, now we are gonna print system.out.println and matrix of n row, and here are j. Okay, for the left part, again the rows are dynamic and the columns are static, so do the same thing again. For I will become it will start with n row, and it will goes till I is greater than equals start column minus 1, start row minus 1 to start row plus 1, and row minus 1 it will start from here, and row minus 1 and goes start row plus 1. Okay, I plus plus, and again print matrix of I, and start column is static. Okay, please we are adding extra space so that it will look good in our output window. Okay, so we can see this code will work fine for the n cross n matrix only. We can't for the odd matrix, it can't cover the middle element which we are having in our matrix. So for covering that element, we have two boundary cases. First, we'll do in the bottom part. Okay, for if we have only two rows in our matrix, and after the top boundary and the route boundary, you can figure out that it is no possible way we can print the whole column. So you have to put a boundary case here only in the bottom pass first, which is if we have finished with the row, start row is equals column equals end row. Okay, that means we are finished with the rows and columns, we are left with only one row only. Okay, so it will break the loop. Okay, and then for the left part also, it will cover for the column parts, and for the row part we'll change in the left. Okay, we'll put a condition if start column equals end column, then we should break the for loop. Okay, now let's run this code. So okay, we are having index out of bound. Let's check it out. See, we have not incremented and decremented our start and end column. So for that we need to do the increment and decrement. So for that, first we need to start column should be increases plus plus, then start row will be plus plus, and column minus minus and row minus minus. Okay, let's figure out where is the problem. So we have initialized with the start 0, start column 0 and row matrix dot length minus 1. Okay, always make sure it will give you the size of that array, not the particular last index of that particular array length. Okay, it will initialize with minus 1. See, now we can see it reprinted 1. You can see in the code part, first 1 2 3 4, then 8 12 16, 8 12 16, then 8 12 16, 15 14 13. Okay, so look back. It is a good practice to always make sure then what is the output you are having right now, and cross check your code and you figure out that where is the particular problem you are finding. This will help you to understand your code better. So it is a good thing. I'm not gonna cut this part so that you can understand how things are work and where things are aligned with the code and how you are getting this output with the code, given code you have already written. Okay, so now check for the second error. So for the top part we have start column and we go to the end column and we print the particular thing. Okay, we have printed for the top boundary. Then for the right boundary we have started with the start row plus 1 and till the end row. Okay, matrix of I to end column, which is great. Then always not to use println, this will help you to get all the elements in a single row, so it will easy to understand while looking for your output. Okay, so our top condition is good, our right condition is also good. Then we'll figure out our, see, it is from end to end column to the first row. We are first going to the top word, then down. In the bottom part we are decreasing, so we have to j minus minus. In the left part we are also doing minus minus. So it is certain mistakes you should look in your code. See, now it will good. See, 1 2 3 4 first. Okay, then 8 12 16 good, 15 14 13 which is good, 9 good, 5 good, 6 7 11 10. See, we have done the perfect code. So thank you. We'll come back with the next video soon.